Back with breaking news. The man accused of murdering Charlie Kirk made his first appearance in court today. Big questions about cameras in the courtroom. For many of us, it was disturbing to see his alleged assassin, Tyler Robinson, smirking his way through the hearing in Utah. Kirk's assassination in September became a rallying cry for all of America, I think, but certainly for conservatives and for MAGA. All of MAGA, MAGA adjacent, even skeptical of Trump conservatives coalesced around Charlie Kirk and his message. A week of grieving culminated in a funeral that was part revival, part political rally, and one of the most extraordinary events in history. Just 3 months later, the people who came together for Charlie are now fighting with each other. Far-right members of the MAGA movement, like Candace Owens, have made it their business model to spread vicious conspiracy theories and falsehoods about Charlie's death. It has led to an all-out civil war.
Candace Owens is a evil scumbag.
Tim Pool was having some sort of a breakdown.
Everybody else is afraid of Candace Owens. I'm not afraid of some ignorant black.
Oh, she's bad. She's bad. Okay. I mean, I like her a lot.
At this point, MAGA influencers are spending more time and energy fighting with each other than they are Democrats. With us now, Mark Halperin, editor-in-chief of Two-Way, host of Next Up on Megyn Kelly's MK Media. Mark, perfect guest for this, and I take you back when you and I were together at Charlie Kirk's funeral in Phoenix, talking about how we had never seen this kind of coalescing of a political movement, and now many of the most influential voices who were on that stage that we listened to are fighting with each other. How do we explain that?
Well, the conclusion I've reached that one of the many gifts that Charlie Kirk had was he held all this together. He recognized that how combustible it was. And I think his, not just his presence on Earth, but his active participation in kind of smoothing things over, trying to deal with, for instance, the issues of anti-Semitism. Charlie was well aware of how virulent that strain was within the movement, and yet he found a way to keep people from being so public or vocal or extreme in their views. And so amongst the many implications of his death is now you're seeing not only is there part of this, I think, is a fight for his influence, for his audience, but I think it's just his absence as a great human peacemaker and glue that is causing, you know, your clip was very well produced, but it is a tip of the iceberg on podcasts, on social media. I've never seen anything like this in any part of our politics. And the level of personal vitriol and the things people say, I got a pretty thick skin as a consumer of this stuff. It's frightening to me how vicious it is, how personal, and how much of it's just based on conspiracies and lies.
So much to unpack there. Can we pinpoint some kind of real ideological difference between all these people? Is this an argument of ideas, or is this, as you point out, a fight for an audience, and the way you fight for that audience is by saying things more and more outrageous to get clicks and thus to earn money?
Well, if it's a binary choice between ideas versus commerce, it's commerce. But there's stuff in between that I think drives part of it. There's some personal rivalries. There's some jealousies. But then I think there's also a reaction, and let me see if I'm articulate enough to explain this. The president's presence for 10 years as the leader of the movement has defined deviancy down on lying, on insults, on invective, on saying anything. And I think what you're seeing now is a lot of people copying that model and saying the way you have influence, the way you get attention, the way you make money is to do things outrageous like the president does, to say vicious personal things about other people. Now, the president often says he's a counterpuncher only, and there's some truth to that. But what you're seeing now, I think, is how quickly these escalate. So much of the back and forth is person A says something, person B says something worse, person A says something even worse, back and forth, and it just, people don't want to back down. They don't want to be seen as having given the other side any quarter.
Yeah, humanity and decency is seen as a weakness now.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.